Speed kills, and Oregon did it again and again against the Cardinal as the Ducks go down on the farm and tear up Stanford, snapping the nation's longest win streak. A dreary day in the Bay was ugly for the Beavers as the Bears went ground and pound against O State. At the Coliseum, the Dogs went searching for win number 7, but it was number 7 who helped dogpile Washington. Was a star born Saturday night in the Palouse? The Cougs go on holiday as a freshman throws for nearly half 100. In frigid Salt Lake, the Utes have reinserted themselves into the race after dismantling the Bruins. And it's a party in the mile-high air as the Buffs are finally winners in the Pac-12. The games to remember are played in November, and we've got them all on this edition of Inside the Pac.
Fourth down for Oregon. 4th and 7. The snap. Thomas back to pass. Pressured. Throws short and it's caught. And it's going to be a huge gain. 40, 30, 20 right sideline. DeAnthony Thomas cuts middle into the end zone. Touchdown. 41 yards for the true freshman.
A superb all-around performance by Oregon as it's now 19 straight conference wins and counting. Hello and welcome to another edition of Inside the Pac. Tom Ward here with you for the next 30 minutes. Joined as always by Nick Krupke and former Oregon running back this week, Dino Philyaw. Dino, thanks for being here.
Hey, glad to be here.
Yeah, good weekend to have you in as the Ducks score 31 second-half points, and once they got out in front, it was all over in this one.
Oh, without a question. The defense came out and played, and they played really well today.
Yeah, the defense held Stanford to 5 of 14 on third down, and we're going to talk about this later in the show, but the defensive speed, going back to the Washington game last week, is where we really saw this defense begin to come into its own.
Oh, without a question. The defense came out. They played really well. You can tell they was in the right zones in their coverage, and they made some plays.
Yeah, meanwhile, they had 63 plays. They ran 63 plays in this game for 50 points. Conversely, Oregon State ran 61 plays, ended up with 6 points against Cal, Nick, in really just a fall-flat game in the Bay Area.
Yeah, we've seen it again now. It's 821 yards rushing for the opponent the past 3 games, just 92 for Oregon State. They get 1.3 yards per carry. Red zone, just ineptitude once again. 2 turnovers down there in the red zone. You got the fumble and you got the pick. And at this point in time, you'd like to see these guys grow somehow. Again, a very winnable game if you can convert down the red zone. You get 2 field goals out of the deal. But you're going nowhere quick, and Dino says it's a lack of confidence at this point in time.
Well, I think it is, and I think it's a lack of experience, and it's all those things now in just 2 games now to sort of regather themselves, put some guys in, get some playing time for some young guys, and I'm sorry, but begin to think about 2012, right?
Oh, without a question. And like I said before earlier, I think they're lacking confidence and they're lacking leadership. And that's where this team is going to have to, get back on track. They need someone to lead them out of the ashes.
Well, 1 game against the Huskies and then the Civil War out on the horizon for the Beavers. But it's been more than 10 years since Stanford scored 21 fourth-quarter points at Autzen to upset number 5 Oregon, snapping the Ducks' 23-game home winning streak. That was Oregon's only loss that season and kept Joey Harrington and company out of the BCS title game. The current-day Ducks could gain a measure of revenge Saturday night with the Pac-12 trophy in the house, and Oregon's last conference loss, 2009 at Stanford. Since then, 18 wins in a row coming in. The last defeat for the Cardinal last season at Autzen, then 17 straight. Early on, both teams trying to find their footing on a slick surface. DeWitt Stuckey gets good traction, and he intercepts Andrew Luck, takes it back for a nice return. Oregon in business, and the Ducks take advantage. Darren Thomas to Lavagier, 2-and-a 4-yard score, and Oregon strikes first. They get the early momentum, and like we have seen so often, the Ducks, they see an opening to go for 2, and they do it. Tight end David Paulson, what a throw to Mike Garrity. 8-0 Oregon, but Luck got back on track. The consensus top pick in the upcoming NFL draft. 16-yard bullet to Griff Whalen. Extra point no good, make it 8-6 Oregon. Later, LaMichael James, he gets into open space, and he is lethal out there. LaMike, a 58-yard burst. That silences at least the crowd wearing red down on the farm, 15-6. Later, Oregon rolls the dice on 4th down. The screen pass to DeAnthony Thomas, helping make up for an earlier fumble. 41-yard score is 13th of the year by most by any freshman in the country. That good. 22-16 Oregon at the half. Opening drive of the third, DT to Josh Huff. Huff slips a tackle, and yet another explosion play against the top-rated defense in the pack. 59-yard touchdown for Huff as he pulls away. After the Ducks dodged a bullet on a fumbled punt, Oregon made the Cardinal pay. Luck smashed by Terrell Turner. Brandon Hanna eventually comes up with it with the recovery. Oregon sacked Luck 3 times on the night. And then they went for the jugular. Chip going for it on 4th down again. Stanford wasn't set. LaMike goes right up the middle, 4 yards. Ducks up 20 at 36-16. We go to the 4th. It's 36-23. Gives James the TD hat trick. He plugs in from a yard out, makes it 43-23, and then a moment to remember for the South Eugene product, Boseko Lacumbo. Deflected ball goes right into his hands, and Bo knows how to score from there. 40 yards for the touchdown, his 2nd of the year. 5 takeaways on the night for the Duck defense, and Oregon rolls 53-30. Ducks' first ever road win over a top 5 team. Conference best 19th straight victory in the Pac, ending Stanford's run of 17 consecutive wins overall. Andrew Luck finished 27-41, 271 yards passing, 3 scores, plus those 2 picks and a fumble.
Yeah, LaMike certainly back into the Heisman chase too on the national stage anyway. More than 7 yards per carry, and Oregon can clinch its way to a North Division crown and hosting the inaugural Pac-12 title game with a victory in one of their final 2 games, home with SC at 5, and the following Saturday at 12:30 in the Civil War. Those 5 takeaways, a season high. They sacked Luck 3 times. He was only brought down 4 all season coming in.
Yeah, well, Dino, the Oregon offense now clearly getting back into a groove after having the injuries there, but it was the defense in this game that was clearly the difference.
Oh, without a question. The defense came out. They played really hard. I think, a lot of people have been doubting those guys, and they feel like they have a lot to prove, and they came out and got in the way of some passes and put some pressure on them.
Yeah, we see pressure right here. Bo Lacumbo coming off the edge.
Yeah, Bo came off the edge off of a backside blitz, and Luck wasn't expecting it, and great play.
Yeah, and 2 plays later, the pick by Stuckey. There's just speed all over the field.
Oh, they was all over the place. You take in mind, even with the field being a little wet, it actually, I think it worked in our favor on defense.
Definitely, Oregon held Stanford to just 5 of 14 on 3rd down. This is Michael Clay. Watch him chase down this running back.
Yeah, with Michael Clay right here, actually he was a backside linebacker. Soon as Luck opened up, he knew exactly he was running that flat route. He jumped on it, made a great play.
And we talked about the slick conditions. It seemed like it helped Oregon more than the opposite. Like in the BCS championship game, the field was a little slick. It seemed to hurt the Ducks. It didn't in this case.
Yeah, in this case right here, I think the guys were so determined to go out and play well. They could have played on a beach, and I don't think it would have mattered.
Well, the other thing that has really kind of stood out in this game is that Oregon's speed on defense. We saw it last week against the Huskies. They had a good game, and they had a good game plan.
Yes.
Stanford still scored 30.
Well, you're still talking about an elite football team.
Definitely.
And so you got to understand and know that, you're talking about a kid that's going to be the first pick of the NFL draft. They're going to score points, and you have to understand and know that. We just did a really good job at, slowing them down.
And then the offense finally kind of looked like what we've been used to the last couple of years, putting up 50 points in this game. Well, the Beavers entered Saturday's game with California with history on their side. OSU had won 10 of the last 12 versus the Golden Bears coming in, but the Beavers struggling to run the ball this season, and that would not bode well for OSU, going up against one of the best run defenses in the conference in San Francisco at AT&T Park, the baseball field, site of the football game as Cal's Memorial Stadium. Ongoing major renovations in Berkeley. Beavs up 3-zip in the first, and Zach Maynard, the JC transfer quarterback for Cal, going deep. But Lance Mitchell is there. Oregon State grabs some early momentum, but unfortunately they could not get much done on offense. And Cal gets the ball back, and this time it's Maynard. No interception, but a fastball to Michael Calvin. 19 yards, his first TD reception of the year. 7-3 Golden Bears. We go to the second, and Maynard keeps it for himself on the option. Nice fake. 9 minutes, 16 play, 96-yard drive. It's 14-6 Cal at the half. We go to the third, opening drive for the Bears. Issa Safeli takes the pitch, and he is off. 20 yards, extra point no good, makes it 20-6. Cal beginning to put this one away, and later in the third, Oregon State with a little desperation. Looking at a 3-and-out, the Beavs decide to fake punt, but a little too obvious right there. Lance Mitchell not even close, and they turn it over to the fourth. The Beavers now have a 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Looking like they're going to punch one in, but Mannion and Jovan Stevenson fumble the exchange. Another red zone turnover. Afterwards, Riley said it was on both of the guys, both their faults, and the Beavers lose again. Cal breaks a 4-game losing streak against OSU, and not the way Mannion, the Bay Area kid, had envisioned his return to San Francisco. 23-6 as Cal becomes bowl eligible. The Bears' first win at home against Oregon State since 1997, albeit a temporary home.
Right. 6 catches for James Rogers moves him to second on the all-time list. He needs just 3 more in the final 2 games to break Mike Cass's record of 220. Senior Day, Saturday, 12:30 with the Huskies. So the Beavers lost in typical Oregon State fashion for this season. They couldn't stop the run, and they couldn't run it themselves. Not even getting 100 yards rushing combined in the last 3 games. E.C. Sofeli, though, had a field day with Oregon State, picking up more than 8 yards per tote. 23 tries, 190 yards for E.C. Sofeli went over the 1,000-yard mark for the season, typical for the Cal Bears. That's their 8th 1,000-yard rusher in the last 9 years. On the other side, though, the Beavers, again, just abysmal in the running game. 21 carries, 27 yards afterward. Riley said their biggest problem was and has been sustaining those blocks. And when you're not balanced, of course, it really shows up in the red zone. And Oregon State could have probably, again, tied the game up a couple of times, if not for 2 red zone turnovers. You can't settle for field goals, but they'll get beat every time on turnovers. And if you go young like you knew they were going to this season, and they have done it, you know you're going to take some lumps. But at this point in time, week 11 of the season, you'd like to see some type of growth in a lot of different categories. We just haven't quite seen it here, where, again, Oregon State now looking at their first 2-win season since back in '96.
Yeah, tough deal for Oregon State in this game. 23-minute time of possession. Yeah. 3 of 11 on third down. So once again, I mean, it's kind of becoming a broken record this season, but the same things that have haunted them all year come back to bite them in this game as well. Oregon's up to number 4 in this week's AP Top 25, sitting just behind Alabama. Crimson Tide at number 3. Still to come on Inside the Pac. We'll go back to Palo Alto for more with the Ducks, as they are now officially back in the hunt for the BCS.
They really rely on the run game, and even I noticed that. I'm sure everybody knows that play action pass, they do that a lot, and once you get up, they had the pass, and our defense kept the ball in front of them. They did a great job tonight.
Plus, the Trojans are not eligible for the postseason, so they're making the most out of their remaining games. And as always, lots more Beavers, Ducks, and the rest of the Pac-12 online all the time at our website, InsideThePac.com. We'll be right back.